Okay, this is a video that I hope shows you that if you go to a discussion about Excel and somebody says, I use index match, you're going to say, I use match index indirect. And this is a video that's just, I'm going to try to make it short. And I'm going to have a bit of a problem, but we're going to take these are electric utility companies in PJM, and which is a place in the U.S. where they have all it's ISO, or whatever they call that. And we're going to see how to very quickly collect all this data for different years, get all load factors, get peak loads, get daily peaks for different periods, so you can just see how much the peak load goes up and down in the summertime perhaps, and compare that to a system you have, and see what kind of, at what times during the day do you reach your peak, day or night you reach your peak. Okay. Oops, I have something wrong here. So let me just explain how this magic of match and index works. Every year, this thing called PJM, the ISO, they the second one is system organization integrated, whatever. They produce every hourly load. They give you the hourly loads for each of the different companies on in the whole load area. Okay, now this happens to be 2016, and then I just it's going a little slow, excuse me, and then I go to 2015. Excuse me, these are all the different companies. Here we go, 2015. Now the question is, how can we grab all of this data, manage it, and do it all really in just a couple of minutes? First thing I'm going to do is open the generic macros just for a minute. Oh, shit. Okay. You can see I'm feeling a tiny little bit of crap today, but I wanted to make this video just because I'm working on this stupid case to work on non-coincident peak load, and I have to demonstrate what a bunch of crap it is compared to peak load. I'm writing testimony, put it on the website. Now here is the magic. Here is the magic. So first thing I would do is I'm going to delete everything, control space, shift space, control minus, and then I'm going to get another, and I'm going to put the table of contents in here, which is an extremely simple macro. I don't call that as anything fancy at all. The reason I'm getting this table of contents from all the sheets, it's just a macro. All it does is go around. Please don't get impressed with this. It just goes around and get the sheet names, and then you have to kind of remember how you get a hyperlink. The hyperlinks are actually so if I want to go here, I go here, and then I just made a Shift Control Z that just takes you back. Now that's really helpful if you've got a whole lot of sheets. So that's why I'm showing it to you now. It's just a quick way to get all the sheets. Now, using the indirect command is the key. Is once we have these sheets, now all of these, I'm on the generation sheet. Right here, this is the sheet name. And this is the company name. Now, the company name, this is a simple match and index. If you're not familiar with match and index, don't worry. I'm going to go through it a little bit. Okay. Now, here's what you do. You make a sheet name, and you put together, so you can automatically go straight to the sheet name. And you put together this, here is the base of the company name, but then I read in 8 of them, or 7, or whatever. I had the first one, and then I used Alt-EM, just to read all the different names. This you go back to the website. I should have shown you the website, but you go back and you get all the sheet names. I'm doing a crappy job. I should have started by showing you the website, but unfortunately I'm not online, so I can't really do that. Okay, and then once you find this, you make something that looks like this. I'm just going to do it like this. You put a single quote, another double quote, and then you put an and sign, and then you put the sheet name, and then you put another and sign, a double quote, and then a single quote, and an exclamation point, and whether we want the 6th time we read it in, the 5th time, from this Alt-EM. Okay, and then you get this, and I forgot to put it like this, okay? And I did something really bad, just so I could demonstrate how stupid I am. Okay, and then we have it like this, okay? So that's the sheet name. Now if I wanted to read from that sheet just B2, I could just put B2 like that, with an and sign, I think. Okay, and, oops. I need to put it like that, fine. And what that will do is it will go to B2. Now, I hope you can see. Normally, if I put A1, if I typed A1, and you said equal indirect, and you went to A, and let's make it, I'm sorry, D11. So if I put D11 here, and then I put indirect D11, you'd say, what an idiot. I could have just typed an equal sign and went to D11. Okay, that's pretty idiotic. What use is this whole indirect function? Well, this indirect function might be as useful. I know a lot of you use pivot tables and all that. It might be more useful than that because of this situation where you have different sheet names. And then we can collect all the data on the different sheet names. That's what I wanted to go through, and go through it a little more slowly than I usually do, but I probably am not doing a very good job of it. So now if I want to go to this company called B6, this is, who is this public service company? I think they're in New Jersey or something like that. And if I want to go to B2, so what we would do is then to find that number, we put equal indirect and go to this number. And I guess that's just let's make it C5. Maybe we'll get a number. Excuse me, not C52, just C5. That gives us a number. And let's see if it really found that number. So we better go to our little table of contents, or really it's just a sheet name, and I think I went all, oops, oh God, okay. And we went to, okay, here's the number 6, and I think it was public service of 6, and then we found, C2. So what I've 4, 4, 6, 9, shift control Z, and I go down, C5, sorry. I'm going to assume it's right, okay? Idiotic. You could look at the video. I don't have that advantage. So, of course, if we wanted it from the different year now, instead of F5, I could put this one. And then it would give me, oh great, it's got a different C5. I'm going to put D5 there maybe. It gives me a different number, which is exactly the one thing that's really a pain here. So let me go through that. So I hope you see how the indirect function works. Now, if we this is all the sheets were the same name, so this is reading it in from 2009, 8, 7, whatever, 10, 11. And then, unfortunately, and the only reason I think that's why these little table of contents help, because you can see there was a change in the format where they moved the columns over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sum for 365 days, and this is the generation. Okay, I'm going to delete this. I hope you don't need this. I'm going to, and then if we press Shift spacebar, Shift Alt left arrow, right arrow, whoops, shoot. Okay, I hope I didn't just screw anything up. Okay, what this indirect function does, I'm just showing, I don't have to show all this stuff. I'm summing, and what you do is you do something like the following. To really use the indirect function, you put equals sum, and you go and you find some data, okay, and then it's, okay, this is not what I'd use, okay, and then what you do is you then work backwards, just like so many of this stuff I do. You work backwards, you put this sheet name in, and you've got to go from 7 to 44, and C to AE, and you've got to define all of these in the indirect. But the good news about defining them is that makes them really easy to find. So here's okay, enough, I'm stuttering a little bit, but we put the sum around that, and that does exactly what kind of I just showed. It goes to the sheet PS8, it goes from C2 to Z367, and it just sums it. And once you got that, this wonderful thing, this is the magic of it all. Okay, you just have it for one thing. I'm just using old-fashioned Shift right arrow and Control R, and then I'm going to go to Control D to go down, and it all comes there. And it's all that fast. And if you wanted, here's the really nice thing. Okay, so let's go to the next sheet, which I messed up a little bit, but now I'm going to get the peak load instead of the generation. And I'm going to try to discuss just a little bit about load factors. The peak load, I just do exactly the same. All I did was copy the sheet. And the same thing, I think we had to change the, no I didn't. I just took the maximum of the whole area instead of the sum. This gives you the maximum load for each one of them. Now once you have that, all I did, okay, I was particularly interested in this company called Commonwealth Edison because I'm testifying that, and I wanted to see if the load factor is lower. The load factor is the average load divided by the peak load, and what's happened to that over time. And very quickly you can see, it's fascinating for me, that load, the total amount of generation in this enormous swath of the US has come down. The peak loads have kind of stayed the same. You can see a trend in what has happened to the peak load compared to the generation just that quickly. Okay, and now we're going to do something different. If you look on this website, you will see that see, I don't need those last three. Let me just clean this up just a bit so I guess I'm using this video a little bit to clean it up. If we take this time I just want to take one company. So I'm not going to go through this whole stupid thing about putting these little spinner boxes in, although you can see they're really good. So this time I just want to take one company and look at the loads that happen all the way back from 2009 to 2015. So here we put the sheet name. So um, just a minute. Why is this? Hang on, I gotta pause it just for a second. Okay, sorry about that. I thought AE was a company name. Well, that's the column number, and what I wanted this time, I said, okay, let's just take, they give you the daily peak loads. It's not very fancy. They take the hourly loads and take a maximum. And then I want to get it from in the different years and get the different companies, blah, blah, blah. And all we do is the same indirect function. This time there's no sum, no max, no nothing. We're just taking the number, and then we're copying it down. And I'm always looking at one company. This is just a company list. So if I want to look at a different company, I go here, and just that quickly we get all the hourly loads. And then, okay, well, this is yes, this is the daily loads. So if I wanted, the company I was looking at was called this one. And we can look and see how it spiked kind of during the summertime in that one. This company had a winter peak. And if we wanted to look at a different year, we can just do it that quickly. And that's just taking this stuff from the internet. Now my theory is that there are a few good really sites on the internet, I don't call this one of them, but learning how to use this. And then this load factor graph just takes the peak load and the average load rather, and divides it by the generation. So you have to figure out, the only thing is to figure out how many leap years, how many days there are in a year. Okay? And that's how you get the numbers. It's all with the indirect function. This indirect function, I think, for these kind of things, well, for a lot, is more important than really the match and index itself. Okay? We can see just how my argument was that this company kind of had a lot of spikes, and they occurred during the summertime, and that affects their cost structure. I think I should put the different title in, excuse me. So I think we can put it like this, so we can kind of see a little bit of a better display of what they have. This is, I think, a New York suburb. Look at that. Look at the extreme difference between the summertime peak and the average peak. Okay? Then one more thing. I needed to get the peak, two more things. I need to get the peak loads by day. Okay? By month. So I didn't know what to do. And what I did is just took a date, and now I put in all the numbers all the way down. It's so simple. That's nothing fancy. I kind of had to put it manually by the column, and then I just used an if statement. If the month of the date, you can look and see how I did the dates, equals 1/12, then we put it positive or false, and then just that quickly I can get a distribution of the monthly peaks. And I'm going to put our different company in here, our company name here that I got. So I just did this with the match and index. Okay. Why don't we make that a little bit smaller? Sorry to waste your time with little things like that. That's too small. Okay, because I'm kind of just doing my work for this horrible project where I have to testify in front of the court. I think I have some very good arguments, but you can read my testimony. I'm making a book of all my testimonies for people who are really interested in electricity from a kind of a different perspective, I hope. This is something horrible. Okay, so I had to put minus and plus. Let's move this silly thing away. Okay, all right, and now the final thing. If we just change the column a little bit, what they did is, let me see, Shift Control Z, and let's go to one of our companies. Let's go to this company. I didn't mean to. Over at the end, they just put here. I assume they did this. Oh, they manually typed in the maximum. Oh my God! And then they manually typed in the hour of the peak every day. Okay, you could have easily done that with match and index. I hope you know that all you had to do was match the max against this column, and then yeah, match the max and then take the index. Okay, and then they put the minimum hour as well. You could do that calculation in about a split second. Should I do it? What the heck? That's a good review. You put match, and then you put equal max of the area. Oops. Okay. And then because it's not going to be always the same thing, you put 0. Okay. And you don't put, and just a minute, equal max match. I said it was going to be, and now I contradicted myself, of course, because I'm a little bit stupid today. I'm in Mongolia. I'm having a little bit of a cold, and it's a little cold here. So then after that, you put this, and then you put comma 0. Excuse me for that kind of error. And that gives us the date. And if we wanted to find the max, well, we could have put equal max, okay? Whatever. Whatever. We could have put HE21, okay? So then I went Shift Control Z to kind of move, work with the file, and then we go to and get the max hour. So this is the max hour. Once again, I didn't need these last few things, so sorry it was so quickly. It took a few minutes really to do all of this because all I was doing was copying other sheets. And then we take all of this data across, and then we make a frequency distribution. Now, to make a frequency distribution, all you do is you select, I selected 24 hours. I don't think there are days with 25 and 23 if you have a daylight savings time, but I don't think they report that, so I'm going to use 24 frequency. And then you just can go and get all of the data. Okay. I'm not going to get this last leap year day. Shh, don't tell me. And then it asks for the bins data. So this is, whoops, I went to the wrong sheet. And you just get the bins arrow, and then you have to press Shift Control Enter. It's one of these frequency things. And I think it's actually a very good function. You can, I'm going crazy with it and try to do it differently. And okay, and then we can put our different company here. And what happened to the company name? I've got to go and get the company name again. Okay, and that's it. But that, I think this one, I hope you agree, that this shows you kind of real world problems, and it shows you how to this indirect function. I remember years ago, this woman said, "I hate." She was really smart, a lot smarter than me. She said, "I hate pivot tables." And I said, "Okay, what do you do?" And she said, "Oh no, I use the. Oh, this had one thing where we." I had a 1 a.m. peak, maybe it was New Year's Day or something. Okay. Alright. Well, I didn't know it just now. Okay. I hope, you can see how to use the match index and indirect, and I'm going to put this in two places. Since it's an electricity one, I'm going to put it in on the website. There's an electricity page with LCOE and all that stuff. And there's also a database one. Okay, so that's the end of voir. J'espère que j'ai fait. Yes,